Okay, so this is just showing you how to simplify radical expressions. So over here, this is really simple. All you have to do is multiply like this and like that, okay? So since we're multiplying two radical expressions, we can put them together inside. So the 10, I'm going to put right here, right? Times the 6, right? So that is the first arrow, like this, multiplying those two, okay? Now, let's go ahead and multiply the second part, which is the square root of 10 along with the 3. Okay? So, notice that we're multiplying a whole number with a radical expression, right? So, in that case, all you have to do is make sure you put the plus sign, right? And then you just write the 3 and then the square root of 10. A lot of students are really confused over this, but just think about it this way. It's 3 times, so it's like 3 square root of 1 times 10 square root of 10, which is 1 times square root of 10, right? So it's the same thing. You just multiply the 3 and 1 together. 3 times 1 is 3. And so that's how I got the 3 here. And square root of 1 times square root of 10 is square root of 10, right? But if you want to think like in a cheating way, all you have to do is think, oh, you just put the whole number and the square root of 10 and you're done, right? And so let's see if we could simplify anything. Well, we know that 10 is 5 times 2, right? So just remember, 10 is 5 times 2. And then what is 6? Oh, it's 2 times 3. So 6 is 2 times 3, right? Okay, the rest of the stuff is still the same. Oh, remember how we're supposed to box numbers that are exactly the same? So the 2 came outside, and 5 times 3 is still on the inside. And we're going to add that with 3 square root of 10. Okay? So now, all you have to do is multiply the stuff on the inside, which is 2 square root of 15 plus 3 square root of 10. We cannot go any further because, as you can see, the 15 and the 10, they are not the same. So we cannot combine them, right? So we leave it as is, and that's the answer. Let's move on to the next question. Okay? So question number 2 is square root of 6 minus 2 square root of 3 times square root of 6 plus square root of 3. Okay, so this one's a little bit more complicated, but it's still easy, okay? So all you have to do is remember you're multiplying this with everything in the back, okay? So that's the first thing you gotta do. So let's go ahead and do that. I'm going to write square root of 6 and then multiply everything in the back. Then what I'm going to do is copy that and multiply everything in the back. Okay, it was a very simple thing. I'm going to put minus 2 square root of 3. And don't forget the symbol over here. You got to make sure you copy that. Okay? Then you're going to multiply that with square root of 6 plus square root of 3. So then from here, obviously, you know that it's going to be the same as before. Okay? And so you distribute like this and then like that. Okay? So let's do the first part. Square root of 6 times square root of 6. So that's going to be square root of 6 times 6. Oh, I already know that they're coming out. Okay, so I'm just going to put a box there. Next thing I got to do is square root of 6 times square root of 3, right? Okay, there you go, plus square root of 6 times square root of 3. All right, so now let's do the back part, which is square root of negative 2 square root of 3 times square root of 6, right? So that's negative 2 on the outside and square root of 3 times 6 on the inside. Okay? Now let's do the other one. So I'll multiply those two, right? So that would be negative 2 square root of 3. I keep messing up with the colors. Negative 2 square root of 3 times square root of 3. Oop, another box. So that one's coming out too. Alright, so let's see. This 6 came out, because remember how it was in a box? Yeah, so this one came out. And then over here, I need to factor it. So 6 is 2 times 3. See, 6 is 2 times 3. And 3 is just 3. And so that's that 3 right there. Ooh, and I see a box because 3 times 3 comes out, right? Let's move on. -2 and then 3, because that's this 3 right here. And then 6 is 3 times 2. Obviously, right? Ooh, I see another box because 3 times 3 comes out. Over here, I have the -2 at the front, and remember the box that we made? Yep, that came out. So there's nothing else inside the box. There you go. 6 plus 3 came out. Square root of 2 is stuck. Minus 2 is already there, but 3 came out. And then 2 is still on the inside. Minus 2 times 3 is 6. Ooh, cool. Now, I already know that 6 minus 6 is 0. So I'm not even going to think about it, okay? Over here, I have 3 square root of 2 minus 3 times 2 is 6 square root of 2. Ooh, bum bum bum. These are like terms. The radicand is the same. So what am I going to do now? I'm going to combine them. So it's 3 minus 6, because they're both square root of 2, right? Can just put it like that. So there you go. What's my answer? 3 minus 6 is -3 and square root of 2. Okay? Alright, so that was another very easy question. So the last question for the day. Question number 3 would be to multiply square root of 7 plus square root of 3 times, square root of 7 minus square root of 3. Alright, so this is the part where I taught you the formula, okay? So I could actually do all the work like question number 2, but I'm just going to show you the formula because that was the whole point. So this is A here plus B. So we can tell that A is square root of 7 and B is square root of 3. So square root of 7 is A again minus B, because square root of 3 is B. Well, let me tell you, the formula for this is A squared minus B squared. Okay? And what that basically means was A was what? What was A? A was square root of 7, right? So A squared means square root of 7 times square root of 7 minus B squared. What was B anyway? B was square root of 3, right? Okay? So that would be square root of 3 times 3. Ooh, obviously they're the same. We boxed them. So you're going to get 7 minus 3, which is 4, right? So our answer is supposed to be 4. What I'm going to do right now is just I'm going to prove to you that the answer is really 4. Okay, so let's do this. Let's actually do all the work. Okay, square root of 7 plus square root of 3 times square root of 7 minus square root of 3. Okay, so we're gonna do the same thing like the first one. This times all of the stuff in the back. Okay, which is square root of 7 times square root of 7 minus square root of 3. Then now we gotta multiply the back times everything, right? So we put plus square root of 3 and then square root of 7 minus square root of 3. So let's distribute. Right now I'm going a little bit faster. Multiply like that. So that's going to be square root of 7 times 7. Ooh, that's a box right there. Then I'm going to multiply those two like that. So that's going to be minus square root of 7 times 3. The next one is like that. So plus square root of 3 times 7. And then the last one is going to be like this, which is positive, there you go, positive times a negative is a negative. So it's going to be minus square root of 3 times 3. You know, whenever I see the opportunity to put boxes, I just do it right away. So there you go. 7 came out. Negative square root of 21 plus square root of 21 minus 3. So you can already see that my answer is about to be the same as this top one right here, right? I'm supposed to get 7 minus 3 equals 4. I used the formula to show you the shortcut up here. And over here, I'm actually doing the math, okay? But the important thing is that you understand the formula and then you use it because you need it for tomorrow's lesson. So there you go. We can see that 7 minus 3 is obviously 4, so I'm going to put 4. The next thing we have to look at is, ooh, the square root of 21. They're exactly the same, right? So what do we do? Oh, here's minus and plus. They cancel each other out. So what's your answer? Just 4. Okay? And so that's it for today's lesson. The practice questions, you can go to haiku. And it's on your notes for, what's the date of this one? For February 7th. And then you can go ahead and solve those questions there. Okay? Thank you.